Hello, Lonna Corder. How are you?
I'm great, Michelle. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this video with me. Um, okay, I want to introduce everyone to Lonna Corder. She is the director of Playgroup Preschool, which she founded 25 years ago with Ann Getty. And we have been so blessed and excited to be included in Playgroup, Lana. My daughter went there and she's now a kindergartner. Actually, no, she's almost a first grader
She
at
is
birth.
a sixth grader.
Yep. And then our son Crowley is still enrolled there. And let's just be honest. This Zoom, we're going to aim for 5 minutes, which actually I should put my timer on right now, but there's no way. Like, we're going long on this one for sure. Because I could talk to you for 3 hours.
Forever.
And let me tell everyone why I could talk to her for 3 hours. Lana has her BA in childhood development. I'm consulting my notes to make sure I get it right. She has her American Montessori teaching degree, which I think is so critical for what we're going to talk about today, which is how to set up a homeschool. Like, never thought I'd be doing that. And then you also did your master's while you were running this preschool, which is just incredible. And I love that you also mentioned your most important accomplishments are being married for 31 years and having successfully launched your son, who's 27 years old and who went to your preschool, which is another, you really know what it's like to be a mom with your child in your school, like we're all experiencing now with homeschooling. um, okay, so Lana, how have you confronted like the change in all of this, like the COVID pandemic at your school? And then maybe we can talk about the home setup after that.
Well, certainly the first thing was setting up distance learning in March. So pulling out of our school, and then on a Monday in March, I think it was March 16th, launching with me going on Instagram to 60 children and parents live, setting the tone. There's some things that are different, and there are some things that'll be the same. And one of the things that's different is we're not going to be at school. We're going to be home. But one of the things that is the same is that you'll see us, you'll wake up in the morning. So I think that that's a key point, Michelle, is pointing out to your children what's different, but what's the same. Because it's key for them to know, although it feels like the world has exploded, it hasn't. And there are plenty of things in their life that are the same. And to actually make that a list that you go over every day. Every day I wake up and come up with a list of things I'm glad I have. When there are people who are losing their lives, there are people who are losing their businesses. There are preschools that can't reopen. And I'm really grateful that I have what I have. And that's what we all need to do. And we need to teach the children that, how to be grateful for what we have. And this is the gift of this experience, is to model for your children resilience and grit and flexibility and patience. That's your job. So if they do not have the highest level of math skills by the time they end this school year, so what? If they're able to pivot, if they're able to laugh, if they're able to talk to you, you've got to win.
Okay, and actually, I think that's a perfect segue. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'm going to. So March, 15th, I'm like, okay, so we're going to be working from home. Kids are going to be at home. Got no clue what this room looks like. But I ordered some Melissa and Doug white desks.
Sure.
Set them up facing a wall in the kids' bedroom. My gosh, you guys, this is not ideal, but here they are.
Getting very real. Yes, yes, yes.
Facing a wall. Let me tell you, not successful. Kids
Yes.
did not want to be facing a wall. They did not jump into their homework space the way I thought that they would. And so what should I be doing differently? I mean, I could take it. What did I do wrong? I thought I got all the crayons. Like I
Sure,
set
sure.
them up for success. What did I do
Hold on.
wrong?
No one did anything wrong. No one knew how to do this. There was no template for this, and it makes sense. First of all, we're a culture and we're an area that likes to buy things. So we tell ourselves we need to buy the right things and set up the environment, which it's a little bit right. You do want to set up the environment, but what you want to do before you do that is figure out who your kid is. So figure out what feeds your child, what type of learner is your child. So with Blake, she's an artist. She needs to be some, and think about what that means. She experiences life through eyes. And so you want to set up an environment where she actually has some sort of a view, where she's actually experiencing and drinking in the world around her so that she doesn't feel isolated. Because that's the key thing when you set up an environment for your child at home. They're going to feel isolated. They're not with their friends. This doesn't work for, honestly, any of us. We were all so super, yeah, the Zoom hangs. And they lasted for maybe a month. I don't know if anyone still has the Zoom cocktail parties. So no. So imagine
And I
how
was
that
into
feels.
those for like a month.
Oh, sure.
But
Sure,
now,
sure.
no thanks.
Not 2 months. No thanks. And so you want to think about that for your child. If that doesn't work for us, think about how hard this is. You're talking over each other. Are they muted? So if that doesn't work for us as adults, it's really not going to work for children under 3rd grade. It's really not. And so how can you set them up for success? You have to look at your environment. So one of the things you did that makes sense is set them up in their bedroom. But that isolates them. They want to be where you are, especially now. They're feeling insecure. Summer is summer, but now they're finding out they're still going to do this dreadful distance learning thing. So keep in mind, how can they feel connected? How can I set them up in a room where they can see what else is going on in the room? Or if you have the big TV that connects to the tablet, I actually think having a child-sized table facing that TV is a better choice if you can do that than the small laptop. I actually think that that's a better choice because they can look up, it's big, the teacher's almost life size, and then they have their work in front of them they can do. But not everybody has that technology. And so in setting up a space for your child, think about how open it is rather than closed. Keep that in mind. Is it open or closed? Because when they're in the classroom, it's open. They have things to look at. They have things that they can take their attention away for a couple of seconds and come back. That's healthy.
Well, I also wonder, if you check this out, I purchased these.
Sure.
They're unused, but
Sure.
they go onto the wall,
Sure.
but
Sure.
unused so far.
Sure.
Should I be posting a schedule like, the teachers do?
Again, so look, the story that I share with people is that over the 6 years of building the current site where Playgroup is, my vice is eating, and I'm now commuting longer, and so put on a few pounds. When we were shelter in place for a month, put on a few more, because chocolate cake at midnight for dinner, fine. Pringles, I could build a house with Pringles cakes. So I realized this has to stop. And so as a lot of people, as everyone in my life knows, my husband and I started walking 1/4 mile up to 2 miles a day without missing a day. But you know what I can't do? So I figured out I can do that. I can do that. I feel good about that. But you know what I can't do, Michelle? I can't say, but no pasta. But no, I can say no Pringles and chocolate cake. I can do that. But I can't say no pizza on the weekend. Eventually, I'm gonna probably need to do that, but I can't do it right now. I can't do that right now. So you've got to look at what you can do. Do you in your regular life keep a schedule like that? I don't. I don't think that way. My husband does, but I don't think that way. And I'm never going to go to it. And so Is that who you are? Is that who your family is? If it isn't, don't do it. If it is who you are and who your family is, then do it. In a classroom, they're going to have their class schedule set up. I don't know that you need to do that unless that's who you are anyway. And plenty of families are. I'm not. So it would have never, my son, every year we had to buy a yearly, you have to buy the yearly planner, never opened it. For 12 years, never opened it. It's just not, I'm sorry, that's not who we are. I think those people are great, but that's not who we are. And I can't say that enough. Don't do something that you aren't, that isn't authentic to you.
I try to be that person. I mean, but I'm not.
But you know what? You're over 18, so the chances of you really being that person, and the thing that's true about you, Michelle, and the thing that you need to say to yourself, and we all do, it's corny, but my God, you are whip smart. You pivot like no one else. You have the most positive attitude of anyone I've ever met, sometimes to the point where how you come up with that, and that's what you're showing your children. You're showing your children that during a pandemic, you're pivoting, you're reinventing, you're staying strong, and that's what you want them to look back and remember. It didn't drown you, it didn't depress you, you got up and you did it and you supported them.
Okay, so what I've gotten from this is we need to reinforce all the things that are the same and not necessarily that everything's different. We need to remain flexible. We need to understand that we're not preschool teachers or kindergarten teachers or first grade teachers, and our homes are not classrooms. And just to be a little more tactical, probably not a great idea to have every child, but know your child, in a desk facing a wall in their bedroom, and that classrooms are a little bit more interactive, and that maybe having them around more action will not totally derail them from getting their schoolwork accomplished. I mean, I guess it's kind of like less is more in a lot of ways, and I don't need to be on Amazon like outfitting a whole new room.
Well, so two things. One, yes, it's the Coco Chanel thing. If you have everything, you might want to take something off, right? However, be aware. And I think that this is the greatest piece of advice I can give you. Be aware. Am I buying this because retail therapy works for me? Or am I buying this because my child really needs it? And so that's what your child needs. So what does your child need for their distance learning? Your teacher will no doubt, because we have this dialed in now in a way we didn't when we, in an emergency way, came up to do it in March, right? So they have it dialed in. So no doubt you're going to get a list of materials you need. So you're going to get the colored pencils, crayons, scissors, glue sticks, all of that. You're going to want that available for your child. And you are going to ask that your child is orderly. Now, your children can really do that because they went to a Montessori school. So you just make sure, but look at yourself. Is your workspace orderly? Do you do things do you keep things neat and clean? They're going to follow your lead. Yeah,
Not that bad.
yeah. You know that I have to talk my son's girlfriend down off the ledge, because that is the thing that you and I are twins. Chili pretty much could leave his stuff all over the place. So you've got a son-in-law and a daughter-in-law one day that's not going to be happy with you. All right. But just keep in mind, you can't ask anything.
I should have shown this side.
Wow. Just keep in mind, are you modeling what you're asking them to do? Mm-hmm. So, but you do want an area. It could be the kitchen table. It depends on whether you have a 9,000 square foot house or an 800 square foot 2-bedroom condo. Carve out a space that, as I said, opens up. Carve out a space that has a child-sized table. Some children like to sit on the floor, Michelle. So some children work better when they have that full body reception of the floor. So I love bed tea trays. I love those. So any sort of tray, ideally one that doesn't have a lip, an indent, one that's flat. Children can prop up against the wall, have that, and enjoy sitting on the floor more than in a chair. So think about is your child on the floor on their stomach doing work all the time? Okay, how can we help support who they are and yet still have an organized environment for them?
Lana, thank you so much. This was really, really helpful. I can definitely already hear people kind of coming back and asking for more check-ins with you. If you would give us more
Love it.
time.
My,
Thank
my, my final thing I would say is keep in mind that in the school, your child is getting up and going to the bathroom, getting up and getting water, getting up and they're moving. Let them move. Don't look at anything a young child's doing as procrastinating or being defiant. Have something squishy at their workstation that they can use that you would think of as a stress ball. Have something, if they move their feet a lot, have a pillow at their feet that they can push into. Have a drink that has a straw so that they're sucking things in, because that helps with their brain power. And just remember, they're developing neurologically. Baby kittens are born and they start to walk. Baby humans, it takes years. And so keep in mind, they're developing their brain. Again, I don't care if my rising fourth graders know all of their multiplication and division. I don't care. Are they enjoying life? And if something isn't enjoyable, Michelle, it needs to stop. If something's not enjoyable, you need to take a step back, especially during this time. Take a step back and revisit it when it's enjoyable.
It's an important life lesson for all of us, I think.
It is.
No
It
matter
is.
where you are in
It
life.
is.
All right. Well, thank you, Lana. We're so
My
appreciative.
pleasure.
And Playgroup of San Francisco in the Presidio. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.